Welcome to another delightful episode of Mouth Dancing. It's probably the most underrated and underappreciated podcast on the planet. Well, actually, it definitely is on this planet. I don't know about other universes and galaxies and things like that. But in terms of this planet, it definitely is. You know how people always talk about someone being passive-aggressive? I thought it'd be funny to turn that on its head and be aggressively passive towards people. Like, I'm definitely not going to do anything to you. Get really in people's faces and get really aggressive and angry, but then tell them that you're a pacifist. I'm not going to raise my hand to you. I don't believe in violence. You go ahead and do whatever you want, but I won't do anything to retaliate. Or like at work, you could have a jerk coworker who's always messing with you, trying to make your life hell. And you tell that coworker, keep it up and see what happens. Absolutely nothing's going to happen. Because I'm not that type of person. I prefer harmony and working together with others. I will do absolutely nothing if you keep doing this crap to me. You understand? I'm just gonna keep taking it! People should start doing that more. Might actually work. Might kind of scare people, you know? But you're just very adamantly telling them that you're not going to do anything, right? That you believe in peace and pacifism and nonviolence. It's just you're very gung-ho about it. Why did the Catholic school children cry? Because the nun popped a boner. Why did the nun pop a boner? She was a priest in disguise. It's a pretty disturbing joke, isn't it? You just picture a nun in like her habit, right? Those black robe things that they wear. But then there's like a boner popping out in the middle. Imagine how fucking creepy that would be. At the same time, though, I don't think it's an unwarranted joke, considering all the scandals that have come out of the Catholic Church, you know, over the, I don't know, last century probably, maybe even longer. I'm sure they've been doing this stuff for a really long time. There was even a movie about it in the 90s, I remember. It was called like Clockers or Rounders or something like that. And then there was these people who grew up, you know, they got molested as kids by like Catholic priests and stuff. And they get revenge on them. I think they kill most of the guys. Or like do something to them. And Sinead O'Connor famously ripped up a picture of the Pope on her SNL performance. I think she had some issues with the Catholic Church. Beyond, you know, weird sexual stuff, but there's other issues, I think. Some people think that this Catholic Church is like a satanic cult. I remember seeing a picture of the Pope once, and he was in some weird room and doing some weird gesture, and it all looked very satanic. It was very convincing too. I don't know if it was a Photoshop or not. Might have been a real picture. Kind of believable though, considering how big of a scam this whole thing is. Vatican City is extremely opulent and wealthy, you know? It's all like gilded and jeweled. I thought Christianity was about modesty and things like that. But the Vatican is like this city unto itself. It's palaces and castles. I mean, what does that have to do with, you know, religion and austerity? Maybe they're saying that if the environment is more inspirational, it's good for religion. I don't know. But I think they take it to an extreme, and the place just reeks of corruption to me. The whole Catholic Church is a scam. Why don't they spread that wealth to, like, the poorer countries that are Catholic, that send all their money to them? The Philippines or Latin American countries. They're just like, yeah, you need Jesus. Give me your money. I know you're already poor and we're already rich, but that's just the way it works. Give it to me. And then they do it because they're, I don't know, indoctrinated into the religion, and they think God's gonna punish them, or maybe they think God's gonna reward them if they give, all their wealth to the Catholic Church. Catholics are very touchy, though. People who are like devout Catholics, if you criticize their religion at all, even point out all the weird kitty touching stuff that happens, they get very defensive. They have hot tempers, these Catholics, It's from drinking all that wine since they were little children. I think it ruins their brain development. It doesn't help either if the people at the church are like trying to touch you and stuff. And you got nuns with boners who are actually priests in nun costumes. It's fucking creepy sons of bitches. I think that's enough about that topic. It's a little bit too serious and people might get offended. I think I've probably already offended a bunch of people. But it's like cool when, white guys are offensive, right? So why can't I be offensive? They're like, oh, I'm an equal opportunity offender. I like to offend everybody. Except people who look like myself. It's like, you fucking lying sack of shit. You only like to offend everyone else. You're not an equal opportunity offender, you fucking lying sack of shit. Because if you were, you would trash talk yourself too. About how you're a lying, sleazy, ugly, and stupid motherfucking sack of shit. It's amazing that these fuckfaces made entire careers out of this. I should be able to do that too, make millions of dollars just being a complete and utter shithead. Total 100% fuckface. My bank account should have like 20 zeros and like an 8 in front of that. I don't even know how much that is, but it's a lot of money. That's how much I should make for being an asshole. But then those guys die, like Imus and what's his name, Rush Limbaugh. But then they just get replaced by other younger guys who do the exact same shtick. I forget the name of the guy who's on YouTube that does the same thing right now. He's pretty popular though. There's always an audience for that kind of thing. Guys who tell you that it's actually good to be a dumbass and an asshole, and that you should be proud of it. Of course there's going to be an audience for that. And that it's like actually a good thing to be a racist and a sexist and a loser and an incel. An incel who plays with his little weenie between his thumb and his forefinger and then cries about, other dudes with bigger weenies and blames all his problems on, like, I don't know, minorities and the gay agenda or whatever. Man, that was pretty freaking serious. I'm gonna tone it down. Let's tone it down, alright? Okie dokie? Thanks. Alright. Let's shift gears here. like to tell you a story. Deep in the jungles of Borneo, there was a lost tribe that hadn't contacted civilization in eons. No one even knows if they'd ever made contact with the outside world. They're just this tribe of like 300 people. And I guess it was somewhat incestuous since they didn't have contact with the outside world and there was not that many of them. There must have been a lot of like cousin fucking going on in order for them to have survived that long. But I don't know, that's not really the point I want to make here, but this tribe, they subsisted primarily on monkeys that they would shoot down with their spears. And I guess they had also developed some rudimentary bow and arrow technology. But yeah, they would eat monkeys, they would make clothes out of monkeys, they would, make tools out of monkeys and jewelry out of monkeys. Like they used the entire monkey. Kind of like the Native Americans used the entire buffalo. But I guess one time a missionary visited this group of tribes people, and they thought that the missionary's baby was a monkey, and they speared her baby when she wasn't looking, and they started, dismembering it and making jewelry out of it and stuff. So she tried to run away, but they wouldn't let her go. I think maybe they kind of knew that her baby wasn't a monkey, but maybe they didn't care. Maybe they did it intentionally because she shouldn't have been there in the first place, trying to like turn them into Christians or whatever. So then she wrote this book later saying that they were cannibals, but they weren't really cannibals. They usually ate monkeys, not humans. The only time they ate humans was when they speared her baby and ate it. I think they were annoyed by the fact that she was trying to convert them to Christianity. But yeah, so she spread this lie about this tribe, and eventually people intervened, They said, we gotta civilize these people that eat babies. So they went in there and they were brutal, they killed like half the tribe. They took all the women and children and made them, assimilate into Western society. And no one really knows what happened to these people who were taken into Western civilization. I think they eventually assimilated or just died out. But it's all because of this lady, just kind of like one of the original Karens, basically, who spread this lie about this tribe. And basically genocided them. They disappeared because of what she did. That's pretty messed up if you think about it. But actually, I heard the story because there are some survivors. Apparently, they try to keep it low key, and I guess they don't hate this woman completely. They think that eventually it would have happened, that they had to join the rest of the world because their habitat in the jungle was getting smaller and smaller all the time from farming, things like that. They do resent the fact, though, that she lied about them. They don't appreciate that, and that they're trying to right the record with regards to that. So I think maybe it's good that most of you out there haven't heard this story because that means the lie didn't spread far enough. And I think basically this woman deserved to have her baby speared and eaten. Because in a way, she was like a monkey to them, She shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been trying to tell them what to do or how to think. So from their perspective, it made a lot of sense what they did. I probably would have done the same thing, actually. I was wondering why bicyclists wear spandex. I kind of understand why the ones like in the Tour de France wear them, because they need to be aerodynamic, right? So they wear spandex. Maybe they shave all their body hair, take off all their jewelry, wear like aerodynamic helmets and really lightweight bikes and things like that. But what about like the guy who's just bicycling down the street in your neighborhood? Why the fuck is he wearing spandex? What is he trying to do? Is he timing himself or something? Does he need to be aerodynamic to, I don't know, bike a few miles in the area? Does he want to look cool? Maybe that's why he's doing it. Or maybe he's training for something like the Tour de France, right? So while he's training, he's got to make sure his nuts get used to the snugness of the spandex, because he's going to have to be wearing them a lot. And the Tour de France is like several miles, I guess you'd say kilometers in Europe. Several kilometers long, right? And you got to wear spandex the whole time that are really hugging your nuts and really squeezing them. Possibly even riding up your butt. I hear that a lot of chafing occurs from bicycling long distances. So maybe you got a condition like your thighs and your crotch, right? And your buttocks. Maybe that's why they wear the spandex all the time. So that when they go to the actual race, they don't have these weird issues crop up, right? Like, oh, my fucking thighs are on fire right now, and I'm in the middle of a race. Or these spandex are just absolutely squeezing the shit out of my nutsack. You don't want that to happen in the middle of a race either. Well, I mean, it's going to happen, but you want to be used to it, right? You want to be adapted to it, basically. It's kind of like how climbers have to acclimate to higher altitudes, right? You do it slowly. So maybe that's why, you know, Jimbo in the neighborhood who's just bicycling a few miles on his 10-speed or whatever is wearing spandex. That's my guess. I also think that they just think it looks cool, like, look at how serious of a bicyclist I am. I'm so hardcore about this. I'm extreme. I'm all in on this. I went out and bought spandex for this exact purpose. I think also they want to show off their bodies too. They were kind of like wearing tights before it became a trend. Before everyone started wearing tights so that they could show off their butts and legs. These guys have been doing it for decades. They're like, look at my camel toe. Look at the seam of my spandex splitting my nutsack right down the middle. And the outline of my penis. And my extremely muscular buttocks from bicycling all the time. And my powerful thighs. I could probably crack a walnut with these suckers. And they want you to see that and admire it. I think that maybe they're exhibitionists too and they get off on it. Like, oh yeah, look at how fucking wonderful my buttocks are. How juicy my crotch is. You fucking love seeing that, don't you? It's kind of like an ego thing, right? It strokes their egos. They get off on it. I don't know, I might do it too, actually, to be honest. If I had that physique and that kind of biking, I don't know what you should call it, biking acumen, you'd see me just circling the block on my 10-speed in a full body spandex suit. Really into it. I'd have a water bottle on my bike and everything. And I'd have one of those really low 10 speeds so that, you know, you make your upper body as flat as possible. And I'd just be like staring really intensely ahead of me and pedaling as hard as I could. I'd just do circles around my block actually too. I wouldn't even go like that far away. Just to let everyone around me know that how awesome I am. How intense I am and how committed I am to things that I do. And every once in a while I'd stop, to get a drink of water, and I'd like point my finger at people and say, "Hey, how's it going? Just riding my bike around here. I'm actually training for a major bike race that's coming up." Then I'd, arch my back, show off my chest, and like straddle the bicycle seat all sensually. And I'd say, "I'll see you around." Put my water bottle back and just start pedaling like crazy around the block again. I think people would actually like it. They'd probably time their clocks, so that they know exactly when I'm going to be doing it again the next day. And they would just watch me from their windows. "Oh, there goes that guy again. He's awesome. God. I love that he wears spandex. Just so tight and form-fitting. They're just so smooth and aerodynamic. I'm into that. That's my kind of thing." Every once in a while, I'd wink at them and wave. Maybe even splash their windows with a little bit of my water. High five people on the sidewalk. People who don't even want to high five me, I would just stick out my hand anyway and do that. And if they leave me hanging, I would circle back around and say, "Don't ever do that to me again." And then I would make them give me a high five. But I would do it with good intentions. I want to increase camaraderie among people, everyday citizens. That's why I would do it. Anyway, thanks again for listening to this delightful podcast. And you're all delightful too. And I love you. See you next week. Goodbye.